All right, man, so you guys just saw it. That image that just popped up, that's right. Ford has just announced that the 2020 GT500 Mustang is going to have 760 horsepower, 625 foot-pounds of torque. That sounds like a lot about 3 years ago. I'm sorry to put it like that, Mustang guys, but listen, man, Ford took a long time to, first of all, bring this car to market, which is still not to market. Second of all, to then announce the horsepower numbers. They've made you guys wait for so long to find out that your car, your hope, your dream car is going to be right in line with a few other big horsepower cars that are currently out right now. You know what? I'm not going to delay anymore. Let's jump right into it. So the only way we can speak about this intelligently is if we look at historical data. Mustangs typically dyno somewhere around at a 15% drivetrain loss. What the hell does that mean, Stefan? In simple terms, there's an engine. That engine by itself makes the power that the companies or the manufacturers advertise. In this case, let's look at a 2018 Mustang GT. 2018 Mustang GT is advertised at 460 horsepower at the engine. They then put that engine in a car. That engine now has to turn a transmission, a drive shaft. It has to turn the components like the half shafts that turn the wheels, and then that has to then get to the ground and push the car. Between all that transfer, there's energy loss or power loss. What we have is a real number of what the car is making at the tire, meaning pushing the car down the street on, typically speaking, is about 380 wheel horsepower is what GTs make. So from 460 to 380, you come up with about a 15% drivetrain loss. I did these same calculations looking at a GT350 as well. And then other Mustangs, historically speaking, prior, it usually is in that range, 15% actually being on the lower end of some of the losses I've seen from Mustangs overall. They've gotten better over the years. This is through an automatic transmission. Granted, a manual is gonna do better. It's not gonna have as much drivetrain loss. That being said, let's apply that same logic to the new 2020 Mustang GT500 with 760 horsepower at the engine. Now let's put that engine in a car, send it through that dual clutch transmission, and then, which is going to be a little bit more efficient, possibly, but let's use that same rule of thumb of 15% drivetrain loss. What you come up with is a number of 646 wheel horsepower if you use that same thing. But let's round up, forget it. Let's say 650 is what these cars are gonna dyno around. And then let's apply the other big elephant in the room about the new GT500. And that is the fact that this thing is heavy. For a Mustang, it's heavy. For an example, they are advertising 3,930 pounds. Damn! This is what they're saying this car is gonna weigh. That's like a dry weight. Trust me. Once you put oils in this car, fuel in this car, you're gonna be a little over 4,000 pounds. There's another car that's over 4,000 pounds, that's similar weight, that's also about 100 grand, and it's called the Dodge Challenger Redeye. So, for comparison's sake, let's look at these two boats. Now we can call the Dodge, the Challenger is a boat, the Hellcat is a boat. I hear it all the time from Mustang guys. I'm gonna kill that boat. Whatever. Anyway, the Hellcats come in, they advertise 4436 is the weight of a Hellcat. Now I'm using those same dry numbers, right? So 4436 is what we're looking at. But here's a big difference about historical data of the Hellcats. And that is, these cars typically dyno at about a 10% and less drivetrain loss. And that is even through the automatic transmission. For an example, Livinois, a custom shop that builds Hellcats, they have dynoed a stock Redeye. It was a Challenger Redeye, completely stock, 797 horsepower on 93 octane, and the car put down, it's advertised at the motor 797, but the car put down to the wheels 717. Guys, that is exactly a 10% drivetrain loss. That's it. So now let's look at the power to weight. The power to weight of a Mustang, if it dynos what I said, around 650 for the GT500, you're gonna be looking at a power to weight ratio. For those of you who don't understand that concept, is how much horsepower is actually being applied to the weight in moving the car. In the case of the GT500 with 646 wheel horsepower and a weight, I used the 3930 to be fair, it came up with 0.164. Now, the higher the number, the more horsepower being applied to moving the weight. Come on, let's guess together. What do we think the Dodge Challenger Hellcat Redeye actually does using the same to the wheel number of 717? It came up with 0.161. That's only a 300th of a difference. Meaning, for all you guys that keep talking about Hellcats being boats and this being this new GT500 gonna change the world, I'm sorry, y'all. This car might have changed the world 3 years ago. If, the Redeye wasn't out, right? It might have changed the world then, but this has been done, guys. This has been done. Looking at that, a 0.300ths of a difference is not enough to say that this car is even going to be able to beat a Dodge Challenger Redeye. In my opinion, it's going to be very, 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 very close in a straight line. Are you celebrating as a Mustang fan, or are you mad? Are you mad though? Are you mad though? There's another car, right? That we got to talk about. That's also over $100,000, an American car as well, that you guys are going to say, well, the GT500 is really a track car. Okay. Well, let's talk about a track car. The 2019 Corvette C7 ZR1. Another track car, right? Track car for track car. The ZR1 advertises its horsepower at 755 at the motor. Hennessy has dynoed this car along with other tuners as well for a baseline. And the averages that come up is about 655. To be exact, they got 654. But here's the difference. A ZR1 only weighs 3560. It weighs 3560. That's it. With the ZR1, you come up with a power to weight ratio of 0.184. 0.184. That is 0.2 more power being applied to the ground in the ZR1 than the Mustang. So what that tells me is, you pull a wing off of that ZR1 and you send it against this Mustang down a straight line, and yeah, it's gonna get left because of weight. You got a difference of weight of basically 400 pounds. That's a lot. That's a lot to make up for. So where else is that gonna be a lot to make up for, Steph? Forget a straight line. The GT500 is a track car. Let's put that on the track. 400 pounds on the track. And I'm talking about one of these, right? I'm talking about road course. 400 pounds on a road course, massive difference than it is in a straight line. Massive difference on the road course when you talk about braking distances, when you talk about acceleration out of corners, when you talk about being able to go into the corner at a higher speed. I've tracked the Dodge Challenger Hellcat before, and let me tell you, you feel that weight. It does very well for what it is, but you feel that weight. I say all of that to say, you waited for years for this car to drop. You waited for months to find out how much horsepower it was gonna make. You cheered it on. You guys jumped in, and I guess what we have to do is wait and see, right? But using data, I could tell you this car is gonna be an amazing contender. It is now in the running as well, but it is not leaps and bounds above anything. That's what I got, man. That is my perspective on the new GT500 and its horsepower rating, what they're calling. And yeah, that's it, man. Anyway, thanks for watching. This was gonna be a real quick one. I just wanted to address all of those things. You can talk to me in the comments, call me an idiot, but make sure that you like and you subscribe as well. Or you can dislike, I don't care. But just make sure you come back and check out more videos. But anyway, it's your boy Stephen here from Mod2Fame, and not in the GT500. I'm out.